Let's get moving on our business plan. What's that?
It's being recorded.
You're
Got
recording.
it. I'm going to hit got it. I'm used to StreamYard, so that's what happened here. Let's just get started. Let's dive into it, you guys. Business planning 2024. The way that we're going to move through this is I'm going to talk a little bit about certain foundational things that I feel are super important for business planning before you even get into the number dynamics of what it is that you want to accomplish monetary wise. There has to be a certain mindset and certain preparation in order to be able to even set up and to figure out what it is that you're going to be doing and wanting to accomplish in 2024. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that to start this session. And then after that, I'm going to hand it over to Elizabeth, who will move through certain things that she's going to go through. And then Sonia will be finishing this out. And so with that said, and you know, as we go along, since we are on here on Zoom, I think that maybe as questions come up, if questions come up, Justin, you can go ahead and let us know, or we might be able to see it in the chat so that we can address certain things, you know, as we go along and answer as much as we possibly can, you know, on this session. How do you ladies feel about that? I think that we can just answer questions live. Right?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, sounds good. So the first thing when you're planning, you know, and I woke up early this morning, like I do every morning, and that is the thing that has saved me. I think I have talked to you ladies several times in business where, you know, my morning time is my sacred planning time for my day and for, you know, my business long-term or, you know, short and long-term goals. And so the first thing regarding business planning is that you have to be committed. And so right here, it says interested, committed, obsessed. You're about to lay out your plan for 2024. This is the bridge to your future. And to write a message to yourself about how committed you are. Now, I would like you guys to write down a few bullet points regarding commitment that I feel is super important to even, you know, the word commitment. And number one is if you say you're going to do something, to do it. Okay, to build habits of doing. Now, when I say that, our minds are very, very powerful. And it's little things, you guys, like you cannot write a large business plan and have large goals if you are not fulfilling small obligations, meaning it could be something as simple as I'm going to commit to preserving and taking care of my health. And I'm going to go on this type of meal plan. You know, I always say what for the rest of your life, right? To take care of your health. But if you get in the habit of breaking a commitment, you're actually training yourself to break large commitments. So if you're breaking small commitments, you're training your mind and your system to say that it is okay to make a commitment and to break that commitment. So that's the first thing. The second thing that is super important regarding commitment, and you know, I'd like you to write this down too. And when I ask you to write certain things down, it's because later on, after this is done, you can go back and take a look at these bullet points and then look at them according to your need or what comes up for you later, okay? Commit to working on things that matter. And so a lot of the time, we'll go through our day and our week, and we're working on things that might keep us busy, things that we might feel happy about in the moment because we seem busy. However, at the end, those aren't even things that matter. They're not things that are bringing you revenue. They're not things that are pushing your business forward. It's just busy stuff that at the end of the day doesn't even need to be done. So commit to working on things that matter. And then the third thing regarding commitment is it is absolutely nothing. It is absolutely zero without focus. So focus is the most important component of any success. So you have to commit to being laser focused in whatever business plan you're going to put forward. And make sure that you're laser focused on certain things that you know are going to be pushing your business forward. On the next slide, the next component of what I wanted to talk about is accountability. So this right here is huge, right? In any type of business plan or anything that we want to accomplish. Now, a lot of us do amazing with self-accountability, which ultimately is the place that you should reach. Because if you cannot be self-accountable and lay out certain terms and conditions that are musts in your life and execute on those terms and conditions, then relying on other people is just that. It's a reliance, and it may or may not work out for you. So if you are going to have an accountability partner, so it can definitely ensure success in certain areas, but you need to, number one, choose a partner that focuses on things with high consequences. Okay? Choose a partner that focuses on things with high consequences. Meaning, what does that mean? Well, that can look different for different people. However, you want somebody that can take a look at something and say, this is the path to get to, let's say, A, B, C, D. This is the path to get to D. And if this is not achieved, then what is it that occurs? Like, you want an accountability partner that is going to call you out and that is going to be there if in fact you do have a partner. And so make sure you're choosing the right person. The second thing regarding accountability is make sure that you're thinking clearly, get very calm about your plan, and get very calm about your strategy, because calm is power. So a lot of times when people say, you know, I'm going to work with an accountability partner and I'm going to do this, this, and this, it becomes very scattered. So there's a lot of power in calm, and, you know, make sure you're living in that place, that you're, you know, consistently moving forward and you're calm. I was listening to a podcast a couple of weeks ago, and I don't know how many of you know Brian Tracy, but he does like a lot of different business sessions and, you know, business planning sessions. And he said something that was super key in one of his podcasts. And that was that people that are calm and people that meditate, they are the most successful people. So bottom line, when you're accountable to yourself or when you choose an accountability partner, make sure that it's not somebody that is, you know, like out of control and scattered, because you're going to feed off of that energy. So the next thing is your why, okay? You have to know why it is that you're doing what you're doing and figure that out crystal clear, because the thing is that everybody wants something different. We all want different things. Understand what you want, write it out, acknowledge it, and be honest about it. There's certain people whose goal is to make $500,000 a year or $1 million a year. Other people don't want that goal. They want to make $100,000 a year or $50,000 a year. It's all okay. There's no right or wrong answer, but make sure you know what you want and why you want it. Because if you have the why behind what you want, you're going to have crystal clear focus on what you need to do, and you're going to be motivated to get there. So know your why, write it out, and get very, very clear about it. This next item, which is a vision statement for your business. I love this particular, you can move the frame, Justin. The why is done with the why. Okay, so I had a friend of mine that walked me through what he called a living vision, not necessarily a vision statement. I challenge you guys to, before the girls move into, all of the numbers and all of the things that you need to do in order to accomplish certain goals, these items are foundational, because if you don't get crystal clear on certain things that you want, it doesn't matter how many, like I said, numbers that you take a look at and goals that you set. So having a vision statement, make one, take a look at it, short-term and long-term, make it measurable, realistic, time-bound, and this is for you. Now, what I did on this exercise for next year is I actually did a circle in the center of a piece of paper, and I just wrote the words I am. And from that circular I am, this was, like I said, this isn't something that is self-thought of. This is something that a friend of mine shared with me. And I thought it was an absolutely beautiful exercise to figure out a person's vision. I am. And then from there, just start making little branches to say, I am healthy and I can be my best. I am up daily at 5 a.m. I am focused on my numbers. I am respectful of my money. I am whatever it is that you feel is important to you, do that. And at the end of it, when you have that paper and you're looking at the items that are stemming out from your I am, you're going to be able to know what your vision is very clearly, because it's going to show you the items that are important to you, and it's going to show you the items that you're making affirmations on for your own personal growth. So this is something in an exercise that I feel is super important moving into 2024. Next is, what are we on next? Okay. So this one here, a mission statement, a powerful mission statement is specific enough to guide your decision making, but it is general enough to allow for your growth. And so just like every company, you have to know what your mission is. And that mission could be very different for all of us, obviously. REMAX is, above the crowd, right? We're above the crowd. That could take a variety of meanings. Starbucks, I forget what it is, but I think it's serving one cup at a time to bring in happiness and joy, something to that effect. But a mission statement is important for you in your business, because what is it that you're aiming toward, and why are you doing what you're doing? It will give your business life. So some of you, it could be your mission statement to produce enough money to be able to help certain people in whatever field, or, whatever it is. There's no wrong or right, but know where you're headed, know what you want, and know what the mission of your particular business is. You're entrepreneurs and you're running a business. And then I've saved the best for last, I feel, ironically. This here, have you guys, when it comes to values, okay, you guys have walked around the building and you've seen how we have our core values all over the office in various locations. And that's as a reminder of who we are and what we want and what we are here to embrace. And so in order for you guys to have a very effective business plan, you have to know what your values are. And so, and a way to do this is, and write this down for later, is number one, spend time every morning, like I said, thinking. Your greatest asset is going to be thinking. And whenever you're going to make a decision on your life or your business, make sure that you're utilizing slow thinking, meaning if you don't know what to do, do not make rash, quick decisions with your business. Take time to think about it, because a lot of the time things settle and the answer becomes crystal clear at a later date. The way that you're going to get your values and figure them out is, write this down, number 2. Go back to your life and your career. Okay, go back on your life and your career and make a list before you go into 2024. Make a list of what you would do differently. This is super important because there are things in our business that work and there are things in our business that do not work. And the things that didn't work, you don't want to repeat. You want to move past that and recover and move forward as quickly as possible. And so before you go into 2024, have the courage, because this does take courage a lot of times, to make this list and to say, what is it that I did in the past? What is it that I did in my business that did not work? What business ventures did I do? What platforms did I use? What did I spend money on that didn't work for me? What did I spend money on that gave me zero return? Make that list so that going into 2024, knowing what it is that you did wrong or what we did wrong at times actually brings forward what it is that we need to do to make things right and to make things more streamlined. And so know this. What are your values going into 2024? Is it more time? Is it more money? Is it, let's say, a more streamlined business? Is it building a team? Is it buying more property? All of that is going to be accomplished by you writing down your values, understanding them, being very real about them, having the courage to look at yourself and the courage to make the adjustments and changes to say, this didn't work, and so I'm going to move forward in a different way. This is all of the foundational things that you need to do, the internal work, the foundational things that you need to do prior to getting into the numbers of your business. Make sure that you're taking the time to go through these items and really understand yourself, because if you do not understand yourself and what you want and what you need and what your values are and what you stand for, then it doesn't matter how many business plans you put together, you're not going to execute on them. So you need to understand yourself and your wants more than anything. And with that, I've talked for a lot longer than I thought on this intro, ladies. I'm going to hand the second segment over to Elizabeth, right? Elizabeth, it's your turn.
No, it's my turn. Okay. All right, guys, so let's get down to it. So we heard, the fundamentals of your foundation for your business, what you should start it off with, having some core values, what you need to do to get started. Obviously, that is super important, but now let's get down to numbers, because we got to talk about sales and where are we getting our business from. So focus on, or take inventory of what happened in 2023. We're literally at the end of the year. So what happened? Do you guys know your numbers? Have you seen your numbers? Do you even want to see your numbers? I think that's like, everybody's like wondering that, and no one does. Why? Because everyone's scared, and it's okay. But the thing is that, like with weight loss, numbers never lie. So that also comes out with sales. Numbers don't lie. So what are we going to do in order to get 2024 kick-started for the year? So if we've taken stock of 2023, what does that mean? Where did our business come from? Okay, so where our business, did it come from referrals? Did it come from buyers? Did it come from sellers? Did it come from activities such as open houses, door knocking, FISBOs? I have agents that talk to me about doing swap meets, pop-ups, activities that are focused out of the normal of the door knockings and, the FISBOs and, the cold calling. So let's take inventory and find out where did our transactions come from? Most importantly, I want to like touch bases on this, guys. We can take inventory and find out where our sales come from, but more than anything, we have to be organizing ourselves, because if we are not organized, everything becomes chaotic and makes havoc in our lives. So if we get organized, maybe have a planner, maybe have do a vision board, or have even a whiteboard or a chalkboard in front of your desk to show what do you have going. It's funny because, well, I know that he's not on the Zoom, but I've never been inside Javier Sanchez's office, and it's interesting. I went in there, and what I liked about it, besides it's a beautiful office, yes, but what I like is that obviously he has a board and it shows everything that he's doing, what cities, what properties, if they're in escrow, or basically that is a reminder of what he has going on, guys. So if you never have tried doing that, why not? I also want to make this, little quote. It says here, money is not the key asset in life, time is. I'm actually reading it from somewhere, and that's not on this page. And that comes from Gordon Gekko. If you guys know who Gordon Gekko is, it's a famous movie. So money is not the key asset in life, time is. Since time is indeed your only limit in life, it should be viewed as a precious resource and never squandered. What does that mean? Okay, so we got to get organized. So let's time block and let's find out where our business is coming from and how we're going to get more business. So let's go to lead sources. Okay, so lead sources, are we doing FSBOs? Are we doing cold calling? Are we doing swap meets? Are we doing pop-ups? The question I have for everybody, yeah, like I said from the beginning, where's your business come from? Is it buyers, sellers, or rentals? Now, what's recommended? Okay, well, let's talk about the new year numbers. What's recommended? What should we get, guys? I mean, I know you guys are not off mute, but maybe I'll say it for you. Listings. What's recommended is getting listings. We should be at least putting a good percentage of putting our business into listings and a good percentage of it into buyers. Because obviously when we have listings, buyers come easy. Okay, remember guys, we need to try to work. I'm going to steal this from an event that I went to. We need to be a hybrid agent. Find multiple ways of getting our businesses. If it's not at a swap meet, it's not at a pop-up, it's not at an open house, we have to find a way to get more business. So focus on what you guys are wanting to, where you want to dedicate your business in for 2024. If it's listings, then let's get 80% listings. And if it's buyers, let's get 20% of them. Listings obviously usually pay more. We have more control of it. But just like anything else, we have to be organized in our business to be able to go through that transaction in a nice, seamless way. Okay, so also let's talk about your GCI. Please tell me if someone knows what GCI means. If you want to put it in the chat, it's a great answer. Some people do know, some people don't know. Does anybody know what GCI stands for? Anybody want to talk? Anybody have coffee? Did I drink too much coffee? Okay, so GCI is gross commission income. So what is our goal for 2024? So we could talk about 2023 and figure out relatively what we made for the year, but what's our goal for 2024? If it's a $200,000 goal, is it doable? Absolutely. Why? Because aren't properties, they're up there in price. So I'm pretty sure that you'll be able to get that $200,000 income, commission income relatively well. So if that's the case, let's do some numbers. So if your income goal is 200,000 and the average commission, I'm gonna think that the average commission on this one is going to be maybe 750 because I have it written down on a piece of paper. 750. Hold on, really quick, guys, because I'm multiplying. Okay, so guys, if you have a piece of paper, write this down. If your income goal for the 2024 is 200,000 and you are selling a property at 750,000. 750,000 times the average commission, which on the market I would say is about 2.5%. You have a commission of 18,750, right? Now, if we divide 200,000 divided by that 18,750, it equals to 10.6. I hope you guys are following because it's going to be a lot of, I'm glad that they gave me math, you know, for this segment. Never thought I would be a math teacher, but it's okay. We're going to get through this. If we divide 200,000 commission divided by that, the goal of our income divided by the commission, it says it's going to equal to 10.6. If we're committing 80% of our business to try to get sellers, multiply 10.6 times that 80%, it equals to 8.53. If you're not following or if you're getting lost, please let me know and put it in the chat. If it equals to 8.53, in reality, you only need 8.53 transactions to make that 200,000 for the seller side. Pretty easy math, right? But we round it up. We round that number up. So it's going to be 9. So you need 9 transactions in order to complete that 80% for sellers. Did I lose anybody? I think it's pretty easy. This is actually easy math. So let's go to, let's break it down. Okay. So breaking down the numbers. Okay. So average commission fee, we discussed that. Average commissions right now, 2.5. If you're on sellers, maybe 2, but it all depends on your area of expertise. Obviously, let's talk like this, the areas that you are committed to. So please put that in chat. Thanks. Adriana, you can call me because that's a lot of, that's a large equation. So really quick, let me touch bases on buyers really quick before I move on to the next slide, because again, I'm doing math here. Let's do buyers. Guys, write down $200,000 if that's your GCI for the year. Divide that by the average commissions, which let's say it's 2%. Unfortunately, I mean, some people are just doing 2%. So if it's 750,000 sales price times 2%, that equals 15,000. So let's do this, guys. Let's divide that 200,000 by that 15,000 for average commission, and it equals 13.3. So we're going to do the same equation like we did before. 13.3% times the revenue of 20%, because that's 20% we're committed for buyers, equals 2.6. I'm probably losing you guys, but it's okay. You guys can call me afterwards and I'll go through this equation again. 2.6 transactions, you need 3 buyers. 3 buyers. Again, I love the challenge of mathematics. It's just like right there. It feels me right in my heart. But 3 transactions for buyers, guys. I mean, listen, we can go through this whole list and tell you what is it that you need or what activities that you need to do. But most importantly, I would say this: you got to get yourselves organized. You got to make sure you know your time blocks. You have to know what is that you're going to fulfill during the week. You have to see the numbers written down on a piece of paper. That's why this business plan was, I think it's in the REMAX Pulse where you could download it, write it down. Again, the equation for this, the breakdown is not that difficult to do. It gets more complicated, but I'm not even gonna go through there, because it gets down to the point where at the end of all of this, it can actually tell you how many leads you need to try to grasp on a daily basis to get to that GCI. And I'm not going to take an hour of anybody's time right now. I don't want to steal anybody's time. But does anybody have any questions? Because after this page, I mean, we're going to talk quarterly numbers. So again, Jennifer mentioned we have to keep accountable of ourselves. Accountability is key. Okay. Accountability is key. Accountability to every day is to making a goal every day or finishing with a win every day is a must. We wake up with a strategy of what we're going to do throughout the day. And like I say and I do have an accountability that I have with a group of agents. Like I say, if you can't meet that goal that day, you roll it over to the next day, but you have to make sure that you find a time to be able to say, check mark that you've completed that goal, because it's not going to go away. If you let your goals slip out of your hands, like Jennifer said, it's like you have to be committed to the things that matter. So the things that matter are is the business that you're in. Commitment towards yourself is big, and accountability towards yourself is big. So let's go to the next slide, Justin, please.
And I think you said it best, Elizabeth. You can hear me, right, Elizabeth? Because all of this is going to be accessible and available, right? We're going to have that on Pulse, and then they can download it and it's accessible and available. But the best business plan is a plan that you use and that you execute on. And so even though, you know, filling all of this in, like you're going through and showing them how to fill all of this in, the ideal business plan is super, super, in my opinion, super simplistic. And you can go through, fill all of this out, look at it, find, you know, all of the things to correspond with this, and then condense it to something that you can take a look at every day. I mean, even, you know, condense it to a card that you can, like a little, you know, 3x5 card or whatever it is you can even carry with you to take a look at, because it's that reminder, you know, of a simple plan. That's just like a little tip that that I have, that I do. I'll do all of these practices and exercises. You know, I'll know what targets I have. I'll even work backward. Like I'll actually do a goal for net commission income, because a lot of times people will set gross commission income goals. I'll do like net commission income, because then you can work backward and figure out, you know, what you need to do to generate your actual net commission that you're going to be bringing home. But, you know, at the end, I think that any plan that you're going to execute on, you know, is the plan. And so just to condense it to something that you can review every day is I think very valuable when it comes to business plans.
Yes, guys, like that's so true. When it comes down to business plans, like Jennifer said, even a 3x5 card, or just know that you have something in your office. I think we mentioned this once before, like people use vision boards. That's a great thing, but change up that vision board, change it to your goals for the year, change it that you're going to be committed more to yourself and doing more open houses. Or if you're planning on building a team, more team building events, more something constructive, but towards your business. When I started off this and doing this, I started off with time. Time is of the essence, but we don't want to have wasted time, because then that's a way that hurts our business. So make sure that time is used wisely, and it's not used in things that are not mattering to our business. We have goals within our business, and then obviously you can put those goals towards your personal, so that they can be both combined, and that will help you moving forward. But you guys, just like obviously what you need to do this year, concentrate, be focused, be committed, and know that I think I'm like, because all of this, like I said, it's the largest equation ever, and people might not want to see it, but breakdown in numbers is important so that you guys can grasp it. But I'll end it with this: just be committed to yourself, be accountable to yourself, to your business, to your team. Don't lose focus and don't get sidetracked, because there's always something that will always keep us sidetracked from being focused within our business. And guess what? That can actually hurt it. Make sure that everything is healthy towards you and your business. And so with that, I'll move it all along to Sonia so she can proceed.
Thank you both so much. So just to dive into it, for me, a business plan is a roadmap. It's important, you know, you don't get in your car and just drive, you know where you're going. And that's kind of the same thing with this. You need to know, you know, what has worked for you in the last year, 2 years, you know, just kind of because our markets are changed, you know, have changed and they're different. But pay attention, you know, to why people are calling you, how they're reaching out to you, who's your biggest supporters. You know, that's the important thing to focus on. And you have to know your numbers, as Elizabeth said, you have to. And if you're not happy with them, then this is the purpose of that. This is what you need to really tune in and chime in on, so you know what could you be doing differently. And just like Jennifer mentioned about accountability, you know, maybe find someone, you know, there's so many agents within REMAX Champions who are doing different things, you know, have different specialties and are just making things happen. And it's not by chance, you know, everyone has a different method of how they're working. So, you know, like I said, you could reach out to any one of us and we'll be happy to even partner you with someone, or, you know, just, we can even come up with some other type of training or something, just so that way we can give you, you know, maybe better direction. But the importance of having everything in front of you, for those of you that know, I love my iPad and I'm all about being, you know, everything on my iPad. But when it comes to writing numbers down and knowing my plan, that is something that I do have on paper, because I'm constantly changing things. And I'm looking at what I did and, you know, what I need to change. So, you know, you have to be able to measure, so that way you can decide, hey, this is not working for anymore. So that way you can, you know, adapt and change. And, you know, the quicker you realize it's not working, the better off you are. So just, you know, be mindful of those things. Pay attention, you know, how many conversations are you having daily? You know, are you having enough? If you feel you are, but the, you know, outcome is not what it should be, why? You know, maybe you need to focus on maybe, you know, getting better at, you know, conversion, at speaking, at objections, you know, there's different things. So, but, you know, if you have something like this, you want to know, what are you going to do for this year? How many listing appointments do I have to go on, for me to take a listing? Because obviously I haven't met anyone who has 100% conversion rate, close to it, but not 100%. And then actually how many listings close after that, you know, because once a home's listed doesn't mean it's going to close. Life happens, things change. So, you know, always want to keep in mind, that that's a possibility too. And same thing with buyers. You know, when you talk to a buyer, you know, you give a consultation, now they're pre-approved, but do they actually close? You know, do you take them to the finish line, or perhaps they get discouraged, or perhaps they go directly to a new build without you? You know, things like that happen. So it's important to know what you know, what your numbers are. So the next slide, what you need to do this week. So you can look at it yearly, you can look at it monthly, weekly. It just really depends on you. Some people like to look at it from a week perspective because it's too far out, or they just feel it's overwhelming. So just do what suits you best, because there's not a one plan size, you know, fits all. So you have to customize it to you. So how many, you know, what we call HOP, hours of power, you know, do you have to set aside or block off in your schedule each day or weekly? And how many conversations are you hoping to have within those hours, so you can make seller appointments and buyer consultations? You could even be, you know, on social media, you know, there's different ways to get attention, and, you know, we'll get into that, but this is something that you need to know what you should be doing. Because let's just say, you know, that your numbers are, you have to have 2 hours of prospecting daily, but you're only doing 20 minutes, or you're choosing to not do it today, and you're choosing not to do it on Friday. So now you're really affecting your numbers and your final outcome of, you know, and then we wonder, why are things not happening? And it's because we got off of what we know we should be doing.
Mhm.
And so what we need to do today, the next slide, Justin, is same thing. How many, you know, hours of power, conversation, and appointment. So you could, you know, break it down daily, monthly, weekly, however, because like I said, a lot of us have kids, have another life, you know, outside of what we do. So again, it's not one size fits all. It could be, there's some agents I know that are on the phones for 6 hours, you know, because they can't do it every day. So, but they know what their numbers are. So again, it's important to know what and how many conversations that you should be having daily. The next slide, Justin, is your marketing plan. So your marketing plan, you know, should increase your brand awareness. So that is so important. And we already know, and it's so funny now because of the more and more, you know, we were seeing everybody, you know, is on social media, you know, trying to do the same thing. But you need to be who you are, you know, because I have a lot of people that tell me, but that's not me. I can't see myself, you know, doing the twist on, you know, TikTok or whatever. And it's okay. You don't have to do that. find what you want to do. You know, it could be so many different things. Just be who you are. People will want to work with you for who you are, not for who someone else is. So, you know, you'll make connections that way. If you love to cook, if you know, you love pets, or you love, you know, driving crazy, whatever, you know, whatever it is, there's someone out there that can relate to you. So like I said, be you, your audience are going to be people, you know, or people that are going to find you, you know, just those, you know, those type of things. So just definitely step it up this year though, for reels and social media. It's definitely a must. That's one thing that, you know, our marketing is even more and more important. And a lot of times people say, well, I don't want to do this, or I don't want to do that. And if you notice, you know, we still see advertisements everywhere for the big people, Nike, McDonald's, Starbucks. You still see advertisements. Why? You know, they don't have to. Everybody knows them. Everybody knows they want a Starbucks, or they know they want Nike, you know, running shoes or whatever. But why do you think that they do that? Because they want to stay in your face. They want to remind you constantly that you need a new pair of shoes. So that's the purpose of marketing, and that's effective marketing, because they're telling you. That's why our phones are like, hey, you were looking at this, don't forget, we're still in your cart. Like, that's effective marketing. And the same thing with real estate. You know, you're just talking to your audience through your database, through social media, and you're just letting them know what's happening in the market. It's going to touch the right person who's going to say, you know what, that could be us, or that sounds like something that we could, you know, benefit from. And that's how it's going to happen. And I can really tell you that this past year, doing effective email marketing with consistency has been a huge part of our success here. And I know that because I pay attention, I measure, I see where it comes from, what struck up this conversation, how did I get this person? And that's how I know. So pay attention to what's working and do more of it, you know, do more and add more to it, you know, so that way you keep people engaged. I think that's super important. And that's part of your unique selling proposition. What differentiates you? Why do I want to work with you opposed to all the other agents that are leaving stuff on my doorstep, that are dancing on TikTok? Like, why should I work with you? And that's why I say, be you, do what works for you. And then the next page is the lead sources. So this is something I really recommend that you definitely, this is one of the most important pages. Know where, and it's 3 pages, because we do at least three lead sources. But what's your number one? Like, do your leads come from? Is it open houses? Is it social media? Is it, you know, your referrals? You know, where does it come from? And what is your transaction goal, you know, in 2024 from that lead source? So if you did, let's say 20 transactions last year, and, you know, let's say 15 were from referrals, what's your transaction goal this year? Maybe you say 20, you know, I want 20 referrals this year because I got 15 last year. So this is how you break it down. And it's like, what's your marketing plan to advertise and create awareness, and for them to consider even working with you? What are you going to do to this group of people? And that's the beauty of your database. You can tag, break it down, so you're marketing to specific people. When you're sending out certain things, it goes to that specific audience, if that's what you're doing. And then create a networking plan, you know, socialize things. How can you get in front of these people? Maybe having like a client event, bring someone, you know, and receive a, you know, something, or get creative. People love being around you. If they're referring you, they like you, and that's great. So invite them, you know. And then prospecting, same thing, contacting a group of people. How can you contact them? What could you do? And again, that's the database, you know, that could be postcards, that could be flyers, that could be pop buys. There's so many different ways to stay in touch with your, you know, your referral network. And then always have a follow-up plan. And just know people get busy. It's not that they're ignoring you. We walk around like this with our phones stuck to our foreheads, right? That's us. Not everybody does that. And so you have to realize if they don't answer you in the first 5 or 10 minutes, it's not that they don't like you. It's they're busy, and so don't be afraid to shoot them another message or give them a call. And I can tell you that 9 out of 10 times, they tell me, oh my God, Sonia, I'm so sorry. This has been going on, or I didn't get a moment, but this, that, or the other, but it's never like, leave me alone, so that's never been the case. So just don't be afraid. You're not selling them. If you're providing value, then you shouldn't be afraid. And then the nurturing plan, again, just making sure that they know you have, like I said, again, in your database, you're sending not just random like drip campaigns. This is actual, stuff that's either catered to them, maybe for their birthdays or their anniversaries, or, thank you for anytime they refer you someone, you're sending them something. Like those touches are important, to have. And so if you go to, that would be, like I said, if you did your spear, a lead source, number 2 or 3 could be open houses. So again, what's your marketing plan for that? What do you do when you get an open house? Like, what is your strategy? And again, it's important to have all of these written out for them to be effective, because we already know the minute we get to the office or wherever you work from, your home office, your car, Starbucks, wherever, right? Because an office in our industry can be anywhere. So, but do you have it written down? Because a lot of times, even myself, I know everything like the back of my hand, but I get there and I'm like, okay, I don't have nothing to do. I have nothing to do, because my mind is just working so fast that I don't know where to begin. And that's the purpose of your to-do list. You're writing everything down so that way you stay on track and you don't lose time. Like Liz said, time is more important than money. It really is. You can't get it back. Sometimes you can't get loan money back either, but you know what. So going into operation initiatives. So the more productive you are, the more money you make. So again, a lot of times you'll probably realize, man, this transaction was super easy. I got it done quickly. And you made $10,000 quick. And then there's other times where it takes you 6 months, to close that deal, where you could have gotten paid more to work at McDonald's, and they don't even appreciate you at the end. So we've all been there. But the more organized you are, the more you can keep your focus. It's so important to streamline your business. I'm all about improving, my technology, my systems, so that way I don't continue to do the same things over and over. I try to do it right the first time, so I don't have to go back and redo it. And I can't tell you how important and how valuable that is, because a lot of times we're like, we'll just do it like this and then I'll go back. But why? Take the time, do it right, and then don't have to go back to it. So that's important. And reflect on your business with someone you trust. Maybe don't do this alone. Maybe find someone. It could be even a family member. Sometimes people trust their significant other, sometimes they don't. So it just depends. It's up to you. And what areas can you work on that will have the greatest impact? Don't be afraid to change. Don't be afraid to try new things, but pay attention, be mindful if it's working or if it's not. If something is not working, what do they say? Change. If nothing changes, nothing changes. It's so true. So you definitely have to make even a small change. You'll see some type of difference. So what will I do? Prioritize what's needed for you. So these are some ideas. You can hire an assistant before the end of the year. And there's some agents that are even willing to, that aren't doing as good as they wish they would be. So they're willing to work part-time to help you, maybe even in your database, or to get caught up with, planning out the year for next year. I myself and a couple agents here in my office, this is the first time. I usually do this like by first quarter, but this is the first time I have my whole events planned out for next year for what we're going to do here in the office. They're already set. The dates are set. We're already working on like different, activities and stuff that we want to do. And I said I wanted to do something different. And it's really challenging for me to commit to dates so soon because I'm a last minute type of person. And I feel like I thrive when I'm just thrown in there and action, like that's me. So this is different for me, but I'm really embracing it and looking forward to it. So we'll see. But you can, use your CRM differently than you have been. I know most of us don't use it to even 20% of what it's there for. So that's important. Determining your ROIs on your lead sources, what's working, what's not, what could you switch up, purchasing a more robust accounting software, which again, that's important. You need to know where your money's going, not just, in here, oh, I have money in the bank, so I'm good. That's not good enough. You're running a business, you're an entrepreneur, you want to be successful. I can tell you that I didn't really fully grow, I could say, and I'm still growing, but until I actually put it on paper, it scared the living daylights out of me. But I had to do that. I had to see what I had to do in order to, to live the life I wanted, or to create, what I wanted to create. But it is scary. It absolutely is scary. But you know what? It's worth it for sure. So, but yeah, so that's basically it. I know I don't want to run over anyone's time. If anybody, feels that they need more from us, more information, or wants to know how to break this down a little bit better, or just wants to even sit with us one-on-one, we're all here to do that, to help you. If you complete it and you want us to review it, go over it with you. Some people like to do it, by themselves because, they're, it's personal, and that's perfectly fine. But just be honest with yourself when you're doing it. If that's the most important thing I can tell you, is just to be honest with yourself, so that way your outcome ends up being, what you want, or at least close enough to it. So, next time, what is it you have to do? Where is it that you're lacking? Who do you need to hire, or who do you need to be around, or what you need to stop doing, to get to where you want to be. I can definitely tell you it's possible. It is possible. But you have to want it more than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to interrupt, but Lisa Dorsey has a question. And is there a weekly mastermind within the office?
I do a weekly accountability every Monday from 5:15 to 6:30 on Zoom.
So we do our weekly mastermind here at Ontario on Tuesdays, but I will have to confirm, because I know, Justin, we changed it because of some of the conflicting things. So we will have to get back. I will have to get back to you on that. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah,
We're doing
Lisa, so there's
whole...
plenty of options to go. We usually put them out on a weekly calendar, on the Champions calendar. But you should get notified through text or Pulse. But there's new plans for 2024, and that will come out soon.
We're actually meeting on that, I believe, next week, because you were talking about all of the classes being laid out, Sonia. And so we're going to meet on that and lay out the entire year, which is a little bit different because usually we'll go by quarter. So we'll be putting things out, prior to the beginning of the year for the schedule of all of the classes that we're going to have next year. And then I believe, like regarding the mastermind, there's also momentum that is starting second quarter again. And I know that there's a lot of different tools in the momentum series. So we'll get more of that, out as we move along. And we have a lot of different things, a lot of a very full calendar, let's put it that way. A very full calendar full of a lot of goodies. And I love that, that ending that you gave, Sonia, saying that it's just really important, whatever it is that the plan is, to take a look at it and to get very, focused and directional. You have to know what you want and then put the work in to achieve it. A lot of the time, looking at the numbers and looking at, the banking and having that software and realizing where our money is going and what we're spending it on, or maybe not spending it on, it can be a challenge to take a look at and maybe not so fun, but you know, all of those things are super important in business planning. You want to spend money on items that are bringing you additional revenue and that are fulfilling, you know, whatever goal it is that you want to achieve. And so that is step number one, is really knowing what you want, writing it out, figuring out how many transactions that's going to take, and then also taking a look at what you need to do, you know, as an individual to make those transactions, you know, come to life. And so all of that, you know, super important. And we're here if, you know, you want to get with us and kind of mastermind a little bit. We're all here for you to, you know, give you a little bit of guidance and help on your plan. And so I just wanted to throw that in there. Do you guys have any final words before we before we get, because I want to be respectful of people's hour as well. We're a little bit over.
No, thank you guys, like I said, for joining. You know, you know, remember too, our success is not measured in transactions. A second, I'm sorry, I don't know if you guys can. Hold on, sorry. I was getting a call, but I should have do not disturbed it.
Do not disturb on the phone.
Our success is not just measured, you know, in transactions closed, but, you know, in the trust that we earn and the positive impact that we have on the lives of those that, you know, we're helping. So, you know, we're hoping that your business plan, you know, leads you to prosperity. And that's the whole purpose of it, you know, and we just want, again, to thank you for your dedication and collaboration with us throughout the year. And hopefully that this business plan will bring you the realization of what you need to do in 2024 to be, you know, as successful as you choose to be.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, all I have to say is you guys just be present. We're here. We're here. Just we're a phone call, drop in the office, email, wait. We're all here. So just be present. Don't hide under a rock. Everything is going to get better, and everything is always going to get better. Just you got to believe in yourself to move forward.
Very good. Thank you, guys. You know, amazing tips and tools. And then to sit down and take a look at it, put that together and really get directional about 2024. It's going to be a good year. It's going to be a great year. And so I think that with that, we will end the class, and then any questions or anything like that that we did not address, we'll take a look at it and then, you know, get with you and address any additional questions, or reach out to us with any questions that you have on filling things out or anything that you need. We're here.